The views and opinions expressed in the Golden Boot podcast are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Golden Boot podcast as a whole.
Y'all ready to get rolling? Quiet on the set.
Go, Breeze.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, man? Big four, man. Biggest four, man. Shout out Big Lotto, man. Shout out the other big, you know. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Look, clickbait. Everything I do keep going viral. Louis on my leather, got my laces throwing spirals. Rappers, they been washed, I got them throwing in the towel. Chirping on them, net them birds dead, just like owl. Know that I'm a star, cause that was Simon said coward. I would never cheat, cause you and I my only vowel. Rappers, they be sweet, they in the patch, I know they sour. Know I put some on, they watch my movements like I'm bow.
The beat go off? Okay. Whoa.
Rip me out the plastic, need my cash and make it fit gymnastic. Drop my tape, then blast it, got them spazzing, make them trip like acid. IRS, I'm taxing, killing fashion, I'm a drip assassin. Did you think before you tweet? Did you stretch before you reach? Did you check before you creep? Can't buy respect, it ain't that cheap, I gotta eat. Ain't break a sweat, review that chef like I was Keith. We got Van Leaf, that's what I stress, if they suggest we can't repeat.
Hey, welcome back.
Hey.
100.
Hey.
100 episode of the Golden Boot. It's your boy
We
Pooh
here,
Bell.
man.
I got my man Aunt Petty Murphy in the building.
Yes, sir.
We got a little baseball watch party going.
Yeah. See if they can close this thing on out.
We got two so far, two great guests. We may have some more join us. But
Not one, not two, not three.
yeah. But man, what a time. We hadn't done a show in a minute for personal reasons, but what a time, man. 100, man.
You should have played the hit, man,
Hey, your stalker here.
and get rid of him.
Oh man. I mean, I'm here.
Hey.
Man. Oh, man.
But hey, before we get too deep, I do want to say shout out to you, my brother. I appreciate you for what's understood ain't gotta be explained, but
always,
you, my brother.
always. But listen, I got some stories.
Oh Lord.
You know, it's always a good story, man. Listen, we
got a Dilly in New Orleans story?
We got a Dilly in New Orleans story.
Okay. Let me
So
see this.
we took a official visit to Tulane. Great.
Shout out.
Shout out Coach Fritz, man. Coach Willie Fritz doing wonderful things down there at Tulane. That coaching staff, amazing coaching staff. Got to chop it up with Coach G Mac, our favorite special team coach.
Yeah.
You know,
The GOAT.
saw Colin D'Angelo, saw Coach Gerald Chapman. Then, man, just got to meet some of the amazing staff members of that Tulane crew. I'll say this: Tulane, world class. But I don't want to get too deep. I do want to say this: Dylan, New Orleans. Y'all think he a character? This man was down there racing staff members. He challenged every football player, recruit, current player, coach to ping pong. He told Coach Fritz, "Come on, get on this table." Dylan, they had no care in the world. That man could not be stopped. He got up there, and they did a second line. You know what I'm saying? Coming down. You know what I'm saying? Going to the dinner. I'm talking about he was in the front dancing, and they tried to put him in the middle. Dylan took off running. Fastest thing. That boy, listen, I have never seen him run so fast. But Dylan, here's the kicker. Dylan tells them he's going to commit. He's going to commit to Tulane, right? And then he says, I ain't going against LSU, though. The look on all their faces was like, how do I respond to this? And then somebody finally said, "Well, we're not playing too long." He's like, "Oh, okay, well, we good then. We good. Well, y'all don't play LSU, we good." But man, that dude is a
No
character.
conflict of interest in.
No conflict of interest. Listen, he was, all over the place. Truly enjoyed it, man. But shout out, man, to everybody in the chats, man. Our guy, Zach from the Blue Blood says, congrats, guys, 100, ready for the next 100. Definitely.
Appreciate y'all, man.
We do want to tell everybody, man, thank you. This is the 100th episode. Y'all could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. We couldn't do 100 without you. Do us a favor, like, subscribe, share. We look forward to 100 more. I ain't get to talk to you behind the scene before we got started, but I do want to let you know there has been a change to YouTube's policy. We might be able to start doing super chats a little sooner.
Okay.
We'll get to that. You know what I'm saying? When the time comes, we'll let everybody know. What's good, Brian? Brian Turner in here. Truly appreciate you being here, Chuck. But man, we got Daniel chimes in. Appreciate you, Daniel. Hey, before we get too far, we gotta get our guests up here. But you know what we gotta do, man. Shout out to our sponsors over at betonline.ag. BetOnline, be back in 1 minute. BetOnline.ag is your number one source for all your sports information, stats, news, and scores. Get the latest odds, lines, and player injury reports for this year's NBA and NHL playoffs. BetOnline is always your sports information headquarters. This season, we have you covered for all your sports wagering needs. We have everything from NBA, NFL, MLB, and NHL to golf, tennis, UFC, and boxing. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to get your betting info, including live betting options and your favorite casino and card games that you can play right from your home. Head on over to betonline.ag today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Be sure to use the promo code BLEAV to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Ooh, listen. Our first guest we ever had. As a matter of fact, he was the first live show we ever did.
Yeah.
We had to bring back the very first, bring it full circle. We got Mr. Preston Guy in the building. And since it's baseball, you know we had to bring back fan favorite, our man. Y'all know him, Julian from Twitter Space, the baseball dude. Welcome, fellas, to the 100th episode. We appreciate y'all being here. Thank you for joining us.
What's up, fellas?
What's going on, guys?
How's it going?
All right. Might be a lot better in a couple more outs.
Hopefully. If they can hang on here.
Or a lot worse, just depends. So we've got 6 outs to go, is that right? No, 9 outs. 9 outs. Bad math.
Preston, no.
Hey, man.
My internet is working, but for some reason, I just lost my feed.
But I will say, so far, yesterday and today, 2 incredible pitching performances from 2 unusual or unpredicted guys. I mean, I don't think anybody could count on Ackenhausen. And then Griffin Herring today coming in and doing what he's been doing. So,
don't leave out. You can't leave out Riley Cooper, man.
I mean,
big boy.
But Riley, I don't think that's as surprising as what Ackenhausen was able to do yesterday. You know what I mean? Yeah. He hadn't had a start in college since Delgado Community College. You know what I mean? And coming in and being able to do that, that's pretty impressive. And the Griffin coming in the situation they put him in and able to keep riding like that. As a freshman, pretty impressive. I think future ace number 2 on the squad right there potentially. I mean, he's showing he got the stuff. That slider's wicked.
I just want to say, y'all know I'm not the best baseball analyst, but I mean, anytime the weak unit of your team, which most people have said LSU's bullpen been struggling all year, any team that's the unit that steps up and saves you in the biggest pinch, I mean, mad respect. Like it's one thing when Paul Skeens and Dylan Cruz steps up for you, but the guys who are stepping up just are unlikely heroes for this team.
So this is not, I mean, the similarities, 2017. When you when you look, you beat, you know what I'm saying, you play, you beat a team, you play the number one team, you lose to the number one team, you play that team that you beat the first game in pretty, pretty convincingly. And then you got to play the number one team and beat them twice to go play Florida in the championship.
Yep. Strikingly similar, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think we can reverse fortunes this year.
And I think ESPN said 3 out of the 4 teams in that 2017 were TCU, LSU, and Florida. So,
yeah, Oregon
That's funny.
was the other. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, what is going on?
They're warming up Gavin Guidry again. I hope he has a better pitch, better showing than when he came in the other day, man. He pulled him after 2 pitches.
I think that was more to get the lift. This is the same guy who Herring came in to face in the second. So hopefully he's able to keep it on against them to keep him
Uh-oh.
No outs with 2 men on base. That's not good.
Yeah, that's kind of how this one started. So
we're gonna get it
of all times for my service to act up on me. Come on now.
Julian, what you think about who LSU should pitch tomorrow if they, win this game?
you go down with your ace, go down with Skeens.
You pitch him the whole game, or
I would say you pitch him the whole game. Like how I said the last time I was on, what Apollo said to Rocky, there is no tomorrow.
Yeah,
you live and die with your best.
Yeah, that's true.
Completely agree. My question is, because I did initially want to see. Oh man, that sounds like something happening that I don't.
Foul. Okay, that was made me nervous for a second.
I would love to see. That's not what I need. I would love to see Skeens in the championship, the finals, but you got to make it there. Yeah.
I mean, what's the fan reaction going to be if you get eliminated knowing that you had Skeens available? I mean, that's like a terminable offense.
Come on, Thompson.
Did he drop it?
God, he just
got one out though.
Getting it out of his glove.
Yep. Y'all saw the pump fake earlier in this game that set up the triple play, triple home run. Old boy went to throw it to first, pulled it back, and then went to third and missed them both.
You got to tip your hat to Griffin right now. Looks like he's about to get pulled out, but he stepped up huge at this point.
Yeah, like we were saying before the show, I think as of right now, if you had to name MVP this team for the College World Series, I think you got to give it to Trey Morgan. I agree with that. I know he made the base running error in the Wake Forest game, which would have been the time go ahead run.
I mean, that wasn't his fault though. It wasn't a bad decision.
I mean, like he said, they all was to run on contact. You know what I mean? He still, in my opinion, was safe. It was bang bang play at the plate. So, but I think what he's been able to do consistently at the plate and what he's bringing in the field with his glove, I think right now he's been the most consistent and he's been the MVP in my opinion. I know you had big plays and big moments, big at bats, Cruz and Joe Bear and Peloso today. but consistently, I think it's been the stretch man, Trey Morgan.
No, yeah, I agree. I know I didn't get to see the game on Monday, but it was it was a tough slide. I think it's also goes to the on deck batter. Like you guys were the visiting team, so
Mhm.
you're on the first base side, so you could tell him where to slide. So, but yeah, he's been consistent from what I've seen so far from LSU.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know, and I'm sorry everybody who's listening. Usually I probably be chiming in a little more. I am trying to get some kind of way to get my feed back up so I can see, and it is
It's
just
commercial right now, so you good.
yeah. Oh man. But let me ask you this. You guys both, saying Julian and Preston. Um, the thoughts coming into this year. LSU's a favorite. Um, some people said, saying championship or bust. Some people just said Omaha or bust. Um, I guess I can ask. I'll start with you, Preston. What's the feel of fans that you've kind of interacted with on how this season has played out?
Yeah, I mean, I think every year is Omaha or bust for LSU baseball. That's just kind of the standard in place here. Um, but once the season started rolling, especially early on, it got to this feeling of they need to win it all, or this is going to be very disappointed. Then you got a few pitching injuries, and we saw how suspect the bullpen got toward the middle or ending of the season. And I think those expectations kind of tempered a little bit. They're like, just have a good season. So, I mean, if you think about it, there's 3 teams playing right now, and LSU's one of them. You can only ascend so much beyond that. That being said, from baseball guys I've talked to, Paul Skeens and Dylan Cruz, those are going to be guys who go number 1 overall, right? And you've got 2 of them on your roster. Right? That's pretty. That's one of those things like you're going to look back and wonder, man, how did Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham and Jeremy Hill, how did those guys lose 3 games? It's kind of one of those things you're going to look up. How was Paul Skeens and Dylan Cruz on the same team and didn't win it all? So,
All right. Julian, let me ask you this. The rest of the field that's left, well, we know it's Florida, Wake Forest. If you're Florida, who do you want to see?
To be honest, you don't want to see neither of them because both of them can beat Florida. Florida's all 3 wins in the World Series have been 1-run games, and today against TCU left like about maybe 10 runners left on base, and they lost by 1. So TCU could have beat them. They held scoreless for 7 innings. They scored in the first. They scored 2 in the first, and then 1 in the 9th inning. So they did their part. They just couldn't hit with men on base. So, like, to me, I think LSU or Wake Forest could beat Florida.
Let me ask you this, Julian. There's been a lot of talk this College World Series about Jack Caglione from Florida and him being the college Shohei Ohtani. Do you think that he's the best player in college baseball because he's kind of, I know he's not as good as Ohtani from both sides, but because he can kind of do, and I know Skeens did both at Air Force, but this year since he's focusing just on pitching, like who do you think out of Skeens and Caglione is the better kind of dual prospect?
I wouldn't have to say Skeens because he's done it more. I think Callejon, this is like his first year where people are getting to know him, where Skeens, he has that reputation. And then I think I read an article this week saying that we see Skeens the dominating pitching that he is because he devoured just time just to pitching just alone and the LSU resources as well, where he was going back and forth between hitting and pitching. But to me, I think Skeens he's more the locked in guy. Hey, go get drafted. Maybe we'll see you in the big leagues in September.
Yeah.
Between him and Jack, if I'm being honest. Because Jack pitched today and he only went 4 1/3. He was wild. He was all over the place. He had 90 pitches already in the 4th inning. So it was something you don't see from Paul Skeens. The only time like we see Paul Skeens like really roughed up was Arkansas in the Hoover tournament. Other than that, he's been dominant. And the fact that if they do force a game tomorrow, that he could potentially in the first 2 innings break Ben McDonald's record and even Jared Reaver's record throughout the game, if he could go 8 innings, is something special.
Hey.
You talked about that, the record. Seemingly, I honestly, coming into tonight, or I'm sorry, Monday, I guess, when they played Wake Forest, I thought that that record was good as gone. Because it felt like the way LSU was playing, the way they played against Tennessee, showed up. There was no way that they were going to lose to Wake Forest the first time. And then when they played Wake and got out to the early 2-0 lead, it felt like, hey, this was going to be, set the stage, and we would just wait for the winner of Wake Forest and I guess Tennessee. But now with it at hand, if Skeens doesn't get the record, that would mean LSU will have lost. Is that? Yeah, that they have to lose tonight. Would that be? I'm not gonna say a failure, but would that be like one of the biggest disappointments, just not to get to see?
I don't think so, in my opinion. Just because, for one, nobody even thought it was possible that he would come close to the record. Mm-hmm. And if you still look at the strikeouts per 9 innings, that record he got ain't probably gonna get touched, because he's nowhere near Ben McDonald in terms of innings pitched, as far as the year being set the record. So I mean, I still think you can kind of hang your hat on the fact that he's probably still has the most dominant season we've ever seen from a pitcher in LSU history, SEC history probably. But even if he doesn't break the record.
All right. Gidra just came in, and I'm back up now, at least somewhat. Gidra came in, shut the door, locked the door on him. Nah, not this year. Bottom 7. Okay. Yeah,
he bailed him out, man. They were in a tight bench, too. 2 runners on base.
One thing, another thing that's kind of been the talk, Jordan Thompson. People have been, first of all, people have been all over him all year for his play. But just when you get to a point where you're starting to really jump all over him, he makes this.
My man in a slump.
Yeah, spontaneous play. This miraculous Sports Center top 10 play on defense, but then he gets up and he can't hit the broadside of the barn.
He can't hit the ball off the tee right now, man.
Yeah, he's struggling. But I think at that point, if you're Jay Johnson, you're still going to put him in there for his defense, because right now that's probably the biggest field that they ever played on, other than maybe Round Rock.
He got some range. He's got some range. At
this point, take the defense.
I was going to ask about that, because the offense has not been hitting the way. Is it the field size? I know I've seen at least 1 or 2 where I'm like, that would have been a homer.
It's actually like the bottom half of the lineup has been kind of in a struggle.
Yeah, I mean, part of it is this is the bigger field.
Yeah,
like most balls that we've seen call it the warning track at this field would have been home runs at a lot of the SEC parts. Like the versus Tennessee last night, that Oppo hit.
Yeah, that's one I was thinking of.
Yeah, that's a home run in most ballparks.
Yeah,
even in today's game too, Taylor, the last out for Florida, that's gone in most ballparks.
Yep, I agree.
In college ballparks.
Yeah, so it's a bigger ballpark, and then plus the quality of pitching LSU has seen in Wake Forest, Tennessee. There's probably 2 of the top 4 or 5 staffs in the country, top to bottom.
All right, we got y'all may be ahead of me, probably most likely. We got Cruz up. It's 1-2 count.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
You got some good news coming.
All right.
I think we've all just accepted this is just going to be the slowest paced podcast we've ever done, just because we're all sitting here like watching the game, like what's going on. I know y'all listening. Wait, 32 more seconds. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. So with
Imagine
this,
if there was no pitch clock.
oh my goodness.
Yo, I saw a stat on that. Now this is MLB, okay, but I'm sure college it's had a similar impact. They went from 69% of games lasting more than 3 hours to 13%. Now look, man, all these baseball traditionalists like Julian might be about to run me off this damn show, but they tend to like want it to be just pure and keep everything in line. But I mean, they're really making some updates to attract new fans to the game, man. Because that's awesome, man. 13% of games above 3 hours.
If you really want to attract some,
Hey, okay, let's go there. Let's go there.
If you really want to attract more fans, first of all, get rid of all these
Okay.
hidden rules, these unwritten rules. Get rid of that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
There we go. Together. What's that? That's gonna be a single, huh? There you go. So are you saying are you saying you want more bat flips? Is what you're saying?
Hey, I don't mind a bat flip because
I don't mind it either.
I don't mind.
Have you seen like the World Baseball Classic?
You're right,
man. When them dudes hit a home run and just sit there and stare at it, man, that's so cool, man.
All right, who's the guy for the Blue Jays who did just that epic bat flip a few years back in the playoffs?
Batista.
Yeah, oh man, that was sick, man. So I know all the old heads, and my father-in-law, if he listened to this, will probably just disown me, but I like the showboating and stuff in sports. Show me some energy. Show me you're having fun. Don't go out there and say, "Yes, sir, thank you for playing today." Shake his hand. Be professional with it. But man, go dance around, have some fun. The NFL celebrations where they really laxed those rules the last few years. Think about how much fun these guys have had doing celebrations, and then think about how much fun it is to make fun of them if they don't win the game and they were out there knocking players down like bowling pins. Cut up a little bit, make it more visually entertaining. It doesn't have to be this clean and crisp suit and tie sport.
Yeah, like DJ Moore this year when he played against the Falcons, he caught the bomb, tossed his helmet, missed the extra point, go to overtime, and then lose.
And then you get to make fun of him forever. Now the Falcons will never have a shortage on content to make fun of them about. But yeah.
Let me ask you this, Julian, baseball guy. Why are you bunting Trey Morgan right there?
And try to get the runners in scoring position where a single can at least score two. But
look what you just did. Look what you just did. When you had your hottest hitter of the tournament up to bat, 2 on, no outs.
Double play. That's a brutal double play too. Just dumb luck.
Like 2 on, no outs, and you bunt the hottest guy on your team right now.
But in all fairness, it all comes down to Trey. That was the ball. He should have pulled that one back.
But don't put him in that situation. He's the hottest hitter you got right now.
I can understand both sides. Let's let him hit. But at the same time, if you really want to save Gavin Gridley for tomorrow, and you could have busted this thing open, use other guys as well too.
But okay, my question, I get that he shouldn't have tried to bunt that ball. But how many times has Trey Morgan been in that situation this year?
Well, I think this is the first time in this series, since he got in Omaha, he's batting 3-hole, right? He's always either first, second, or 4 or 5.
No, I'm saying as far as like him trying to bunt. How many times has he been in? How many times has Trey Morgan tried to lay down a bunt this year?
Well, Jay doesn't like to bunt, so it's kind of awkward.
You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna do it now with the hottest guy in your lineup. It just, to me, I don't like that call, man. It just. You got a guy who's been raking lately. He's been hitting the ball well. He's been getting on. He's got 6 RBIs in the tournament already. Let him swing away. It's no outs.
I mean, we can't. I mean, it's like we let him swing away and he gets into a double play, and then fly out.
Then you still got a runner on third with 2 outs.
And then let's say the guy gets out, so Gidry's done after this inning. So yeah, they're just saving him for tomorrow, basically. But it's one of those things. Like me, I'm a small ball guy, so I like the bunting.
But LSU hasn't played small ball all year, man.
I know, but I think wasn't the LSU game where we made where you guys Or was it yesterday against Tennessee where you guys bunted and they threw the ball into right field?
Yeah, that was
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, a lot of people. Dave Irvin. I didn't get that. That was dumb.
yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know what you're doing right
Tor Williams came in and said, "Go Gators." Okay, but yeah, we got Guidry's up, back up, top of the eighth. Oh, 6 outs, man, 6 outs. And I
Man,
feel a lot.
they're doing push-ups in the dugout.
Yeah. No, that was
Trey Morgan.
Oh, what a beast, dude.
Made up for it right there.
Oh, he caught it in the air. He didn't even have to tag him. What a freak.
I mean, you got Trey Morgan. He knows that he has to get that bunt down.
Yeah. What's up, this old vet? He said, "Sorry, what's
Oh.
up, y'all? Sorry, I'm late." That's all good, man. We just watching this game, trying to.
Y'all watch this Trey Morgan replay. What a freak grab, dude. That was a line drive.
Kid is nasty, man.
Oh, and he catches it in the air, but if he doesn't, that's at least a single.
Yeah. Ooh. I don't know what that one miss. But
Who?
let me ask y'all this: umpiring this
Terrible.
Oh my God, it has been so inconsistent.
Did you see the K box for the Wake Forest game? Like where they took the screenshots from ESPN, where the placement on all the batters they walked. It was pretty. That's enough to make you vomit.
No, I saw it towards the end. I didn't get to see the game because I was in E40's area and I was watching the Padres and the Giants game, the one where Mike Yeshinsky hit the walk-off home run.
Oh, okay.
I was there.
Yeah.
I was there at that game, and I saw the screenshots, and I was like, man, that was pretty bad. But even the game, like the first game today too, between TCU, like they got a call. One of the guys got called strike 3 at the letters, like up high, but that ball has never been there the whole game. So you just wonder how these next games going to be because you don't want to come down. You don't want to have a close game and come down to the umpires squeezing you or one bad call changes the whole outcome of the game.
Yeah, and is it just me or is it the only thing about as bad as these umpires is the commentators?
I
like
like
these MLB guys, and I get they're good on Sunday Night Baseball. They've been McDonald and them guys who do it all year. Let them keep it.
Yeah, I think Ben has been in a few, at a few, but I think with it kind of being this close, he's rather watch it and cheer than actually call it. So because I know he's done some of the other games, but when they showed it early, he was sitting there with
that's an unlucky
with
break.
Skip.
Mm-hmm.
Gavin Guidry got hit on the leg. Oh no, it hit the mound.
Yeah.
Still a tough break. Ball coming straight at you while you turned around.
But I like Kyle Peterson though when he's the commentating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he good. I really just don't care for Carl Ravage.
What's the other guy that's with him? Perez. He was in full Bruce Messberger mode when Livy Dunn was up there. I don't know, man. These old men. Oh man, these old men, they get when they start, Livy Dunn start popping up in the comments, they go crazy.
Ooh, yeah, he hung that one.
That's
solid contact, but just a base hit.
Yeah. Okay. All right, we just need one more out. I'm good. All right, let's go.
Guidry pitches better under pressure.
He does.
Well, he's got it. 2 innings in a row. least he's got 2 outs here to work with. Last time
who is the cocaine kid for Wake Forest? The one that was all pumped
oh
up.
my god, dude, that pitcher.
Was it a pitcher? Yeah, okay, yeah.
Man, that guy was freaky. He was flipping his
glove and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, like throwing the ball backwards behind his back, flipping his glove. I was like, dude, this guy is he's either on Adderall or just coked up. Like, what's going on?
Both.
A little bit of both. Oh, big boy on the mound.
Got Hurd and Coop.
Coop coming in, look like.
So let me ask you guys: are you guys surprised that Hurd hasn't started at all in these games?
No, I'm not.
I think he might start tomorrow.
He could. I could see it.
If you go the method that Preston brought up of bringing Skeens in to kind of close the game out, and maybe the 5th or something like that, and kind of close the game out with him, I think Hurd could kind of reverse from what you saw the other day with Hurd and Floyd.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and it's like a play it by ear approach. If they're up 3-0 in the second inning, put Skeens in there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Man,
I just think the bad thing, like, it's a good idea, but the bad thing is, how many times do you tell Skeens, like, hey, hurry up and get loose, and you get out of the inning, go sit down, go get loose again, instead of get loose here, keep your routine, go ahead and
just
go.
stay. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I would be shocked if they don't roll him out to start.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, based on how they've used him all year long, and they don't want to play with it. Like if just let him do his thing, pitch 100 pitches, and if we can get him in time for Monday, great. But you got to get to Monday first.
Yeah, I don't usually like to do the woulda, coulda, shoulda, but initially coming into the beginning of the season, it looked like it was going to be Skeens start, and then Little coming in to relieve him. And then it was going to be Ty Floyd with Ty Floyd with Herring. No, Ackenhouse. That's what it was. Ty Floyd with Ackenhouse. And then it was going to be Hurd with maybe Cooper or somebody. It seemed like there was always, a 1-2 punch for each day. But that's changed. Like, injuries and stuff that quickly changed. Losing Shore, Edwards, that really just,
man. Christian Little hasn't been anything that we thought that he would be.
Don't even get me started.
I think it's a red flag. Anything Vanderbilt lets an ace walk out and doesn't really put up much of a fight to keep him.
Well, he wasn't really an ace. He was, and that was the problem. I think that was the problem he had with Vanderbilt, was he wanted to be a starter.
But that's my point. They just lost Rocker and Leiter, and they didn't really have a true ace. And he showed a lot of promise his freshman year. And if he was who that guy was, if he was who that guy he was his freshman year, he would have been their ace. You know what I mean? So I think that was kind of,
I think too, it's a lot of people don't forget. He went into the season starting SEC play as a 17-year-old. He didn't turn 18 until like midway of the season.
Yeah, his freshman year. Yeah.
Did he hit that late growth spurt?
So Tori, to answer your question, the championship series will start on Friday. I'm sorry, on Saturday.
Yeah.
Saturday. So it goes Saturday.
There you go. Get him out of here.
It'll go Saturday, Sunday, and if necessary on Monday. And this old vet, to answer your question, good play. There you go, Tommy. Who started tonight? It was Coleman. Coleman started, and then Money came in. I think Coleman had one in
the third. Money had a third, and then Herring had 4 in the third.
4 in the third.
So
4 in the third, and then Gridge came in.
Yeah.
All right. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen.
Uh-oh.
We got another guest. I told y'all we might have them pop up tonight.
Oh,
The Carter is in the building.
Hey, Mr. Carter.
What's up, Carter? Thank you for joining us. Happy 100.
guys, this is kind of awkward since Carter says we're not friends anymore. So I'm gonna just stay on this side of the podcast. You kind of lean over there.
Trey Morgan was safe. I will go to the grave saying that. But I'm happy with the way things are going. And more importantly, I want to shout out Ant for being the best WNBA sharp.
Chill out, bro.
I do. You are so good at this. I couldn't, I remember texting you. And this is how the story goes. So I texted him because I had one of my really sharp betting buddies in Vegas say, hey, go take the Sky plus 13.5. And I texted Ann and he was like, no, don't do it. And the Aces came out and blew them out. They were winning by but listen to this. They're winning by what was it? They were winning by 35.
Yeah, at one point they were about 35, and going into the fourth quarter they were up by 24, something like that.
Yes. And I was like, I'm so glad I didn't take this bet. And the Sky covered at the last second. It was the worst backdoor cover ever. I would have hit the bet. So I was so happy I talked to Ant, but I still would have been right. I
felt so bad. I was like, dang, I cost you some money, man. I was like, it was a terrible bet, but it would have hit. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of. But
oh man, that was so great. PB, how are you, man?
Hey, I'm good. Enjoying it, man. It's I'll tell you what, Carter, and I kind of share it with you. The recruiting process is the most draining thing I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
And I was deployed, so that should tell you.
Yeah. But yeah, man, life is great. So tonight I actually had to DJ a little charity event. That went great, and now chilling with you guys. The century mark, one hundo. Congrats. Believe is lucky to have you guys, and yeah. So hey, Julian, I've never met Julian before. How are you, man?
Hey, good in yourself,
baseball
partner?
dude, man.
Yeah. So Julian is one of the we brought him, met him. He was a Miami fan when the whole Miami LSU beef started, but he came in kind of with a voice of reason, and Julian knows everything that you need to know about baseball. If he doesn't know it, it doesn't exist. I'll just say it like that.
That's good. That's wonderful.
What's crazy is you've probably talked to Julian in Twitter Spaces,
okay,
and not knowing that it was actually him. He's been in the LSU Twitter Spaces a lot. He was coming in there on a regular basis. He's one of the ones that we actually are okay with coming in.
That's good, man. Yeah. So what's the latest in MLB? What is it? What's the biggest sport?
It's Ellie. That's who it is in the Cincinnati Reds, man.
Yeah,
11 straight. That kid's gonna be amazing.
I saw that kid catch the home run and do the ethical thing and give the ball back to him. I wouldn't. That ball is worth at least $50K, but he did the right thing. And
so okay, let's. What would it take for you to give the ball back? Like, what would the team have to give you to get the ball back?
Well, how good do you think this LA guy is? Is he like a Trout level prospect, a Harper kind of guy, or what?
Yeah, he could be like Mookie Betts, kind of. He could be a top 10 player in the kind of somewhere. I don't think he's Trout legendary all time level, but Julian probably better than me on that. But
as an infielder, him and O'Neal Cruz kind of blow the thing out of proportion because they're both 6'7", playing shortstop with rocket arms. But the way how fast he is, and he's making things harder for the defense. He beat out a regular routine ground ball to first base, and that's not seeing in the MLB like quite as often. So with him, it's just I think he's just one of those general players where you just got to sit back and watch because he's not gonna. There's players like him that's not gonna come out like that no more.
Yeah, I bought a bunch of Tatis stuff. So yeah, dude, I was so disappointed because I loved his dad so much. I loved his dad having the 2 grand slams and one.
Well, his first problem was he's a Padre. That's the first problem with Tatis. I mean, but I mean, if you look at that San Diego, that's where like baseball careers go to perish. I mean, Juan Soto was a monster in Washington. They gave up a fortune for him, and I hadn't heard the man's name since they traded him. Just saying.
Yeah, I saw that weird thing where he was late to get out to left field last night. I don't know. Did they ever figure out what happened?
I will say this about Tatis, though. I will say I saw a stat the other day that he's like first or second in the majors in assists from the outfield. The man has a cannon on him. He has a absolute rocket on his, and he will gun you down at the plate.
Who's Soto?
No, Tatis.
Oh, I thought he was a shortstop.
They moved him to the outfield.
Really? That's how much I've been out of the Tatis. I was just so disappointed.
Yeah, after the suspension, you know, he got suspended for the PDs. And after that, they moved him to the outfield and try to keep him from being injured as much.
Okay.
And
we've got a Paxton Clean sighting. He's a pinch runner on first.
My wife saw him the other day and was like, yeah, he looks like a Paxton Kling. I was like, I don't know what you mean, but you're right.
I love it.
But yeah, that Tatis, I think outfield might be one of the best things that happened to him.
I agree.
Julian, we got a question for you. Go ahead and finish that. Then we got a question for you.
But I was just saying, and it's kind of funny you brought up Juan Soto. The game that I was at on Monday, he hit 2 bombs, but they still lost.
But nobody knew about it. It's like Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso is like first or second in the majors in home runs. Nobody knows and nobody cares because he plays for the Mets.
But he's the home run derby champ, so.
Dude. But he can't do nothing else. He can't. He's like the dude. What's LSU? Bear. He's like Bear for LSU. It's either home run or a strikeout.
We got another pinch runner.
Yep.
Merrifield just came in for Beloso.
I got to say, LSU's baseball team is a champion of the dad bod this year, man. I mean, you got Riley Cooper, who's just...
they're all like 30. I've been there for like...
hey, Tori Williams said they just showed y'all boy from Wake Forest. Yeah, he looked hot in, too.
Yeah.
in the bullpen. But, Julie, we got a question for you from Dave. Dave says, what are the odds that my Dodgers can get Ohtani and or Trout or both? And he realized he misspelled Ohtani. I still don't think that's right, but
I mean, I don't know because the Dodgers right now, like,
hey, I will boot you off this show. Talk right.
It's now. It's concerning where oh man, sack fly, move the runner with the third. But it's kind of concerning where Dodgers, where you're known as for the bullpen, and the past games when they played against the Giants, that's where it kind of hurt them. And you don't see, it's a veteran team, but it's kind of like a weird veteran team where you have JD Martinez, Freddie Freeman, Mookie, but you don't.
We slow, man. We slow.
And then you do have young guys, like the outfielders, and then the guy who pitched the no-hitter in his first MLB game, but I mean they got lost. You lost that game as well, so it's kind of like what prospects are you going to get, and then who are you going to trade from? Because you're not going to trade Mookie, and you're not going to trade.
We're not trading for him.
Well, how do you get Ohtani and Trout? Trout's not.
How do we get Ohtani? Because Ohtani is not signing an extension with the Angels because they're not going to go anywhere, and we're going to pay for him. Like we're the Dodgers. That's what we do.
Hey, I did see where the Dodgers said they're not. I mean, not the Dodgers. The Angels said they're not going to trade him. It's unlikely.
Yeah, because right now they're in contention. But after the trade deadline, they're going to do what the Angels always do, and they're going to collapse You know how many games Mike Trout has played in the playoffs in his
What
career?
in the world
Pooh?
was that?
They tried to steal home.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't turn
All right.
out good.
All right. Well, 3 outs, ladies and gentlemen.
Wait,
3
wait,
outs.
wait. Do we get a Carter Bryant rule again? Did he get tagged? No, he never touched
No,
the
he's
base. Doesn't
safe.
matter.
Safe.
He never touched the
Safe.
base.
He never touched the base. Though.
He got to touch the base. He might have snuck it in, but you got to
If he
actually
would have
touch
touched the base, he might have would have been safe. But
Hey,
I
that
don't know what
arm
he
was just
doing.
flailing out there.
Yeah.
But
I mean, technically, he still hasn't been tagged. He could just walk out there right now.
I mean, he's out the base path now. I mean, I think the dugout is just a little bit out the base path.
So it was. We had when Dylan was playing, the kids would have a problem with touching, say home plate sometimes, or touching any base. At that age, sometimes they'll just be running there around the bases and kind of miss. So the coach would be yelling at the kids, "Touch home base, touch home." Now the ump has already counted it. Touch home base, touch home base. It's like, why? It's already counted. It's on the scoreboard.
Hey, I didn't know where that story was going. I just know that you said when Dylan was playing, we had problems with the kids touching.
Well, we had Dylan baseball stories. We're gonna have Dylan football stories coming soon because the kids are already buck wild. But man, while we have a break, man, I do want to say we hadn't talked since the NBA Finals ended. Denver won, no surprise.
Man, well, that's like so old news, dog. Like we done had many trades in the NBA. I feel like we can't even talk about that no more, dog.
Yeah,
like,
so
Bradley Beal was still with the Wizards.
Yeah, Bradley Beal done got traded. Chris Paul done been traded again. Found out on his way to Good Morning America, and
Zion
Porzingis is a Celtic, and
just
Zion might be traded, and it's
actually it looks like there has been some kind of deal for Zion. Made the first part of that deal has been done. Mariah Mills has been blocked and banned on Twitter.
I was gonna ask, did we get a deal for the baby mama drama? Because that's wild.
That is the first part of that deal. But yeah, man, it's been NBA is in full effect. The draft is what, tomorrow? Not tomorrow. Is it tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
It's tomorrow night.
Golly, it just don't.
All right, so who should go number 2?
I like how we don't even skip. I was going to ask, do y'all believe the Wembanyama hype? Like, is he really the best since LeBron as a prospect? I see some hesitations.
Now, I'll tell you this. I think Brandon Miller is going to be a beast. I really do. And
y'all sleeping on him.
Don't
sleep on Scoot Henderson.
No, this is why Brandon Miller is going to be a beast. Because the best athletes always have horrible actual sports takes.
Oh, yeah.
I saw that.
Oh, that's funny.
And today was the hottest take in the history of hot takes.
That man said Paul George.
Paul George is the GOAT. I couldn't imagine being Paul George.
Paul George ain't even the best player on his team.
I couldn't imagine Paul George just be like.
When's the last time Paul George was the best player?
There has to be some sort of like family tie-in or
the 2013-2014 Pacers.
Indiana, like, is that the last time Paul George was the best player on the team?
Before he tore his ACL for Team USA.
A decade ago?
PG-13.
Wow.
Yeah, I guess on those Roy Hibbert teams.
Back when Lance Stevenson was blowing in LeBron's ear.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a point where he was the third best Paul in the league behind Chris Paul and who am I thinking of?
Paul Pierce.
Paul Pierce. Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if he's better than Cliff Paul.
Hey, Cliff Paul will get a ring before Chris Paul.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think Brandon Miller's gonna be pretty good. I do. I think Scoot's gonna be pretty good as well.
I think Brandon Miller has some killer instinct. and I think that he.
That was a bad turn of words there, Ant.
The views and opinions.
And I
expressed
think
in
he'll
the
be
Golden
pretty
Boot
good in the
Podcast
NBA.
are those of the speaker, and do not
I think he can lock some stuff down on defense, and he got some pretty good size on him as well. Sometimes his decision making can be questioned, but
Yeah.
Would you say he's like, a sharpshooter in the NBA?
not really a sharpshooter, but he's a guy that can get it to the sharpshooters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, gotcha.
Terrible. Terrible.
Oh boy.
But I do think Scoot Henderson will be the best player, like immediate impact. I think he will have the most immediate impact. Like, I don't think the Spurs make the playoffs next year.
Ooh, got him looking.
Tory Williams hit us with the no pun intended, right?
No, Tory.
Not at first.
What are you talking about?
All them killer instincts.
I'm just saying. Guy can pop the ball. Yeah.
Nick
Let's
Thomas
talk about that. Let's talk about that.
He's not a fan of Chris Paul playing victim.
That man blamed Isaiah Thomas so many times in that interview. Y'all see that interview?
No.
Oh, that man said Isaiah Thomas the reason he got traded.
Yeah, he did say that.
He said it about 4 times.
Yeah. Hey, I do have we got a question for Julian. This old vet says, what are our chances in the third game if we win this one?
50-50. It's a toss-up. Anything can happen.
You think with Skeens on the mound, it's 50-50?
Well, because you're getting
lost the last time Skeens was on the mound.
You're getting Wake Forest's best guy too. So
no, Skeens wasn't on the mound against.
No,
Wake
that
Forest.
was Hurd. And
if LSU wins tonight and Paul Skeens trots out there for the first pitch, I will bet my freaking mortgage on the Tigers, man. I mean, there's just no way.
I would.
It's at least 75-25 for Paul Skeens.
Oh, got him too.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, that was a gift.
The strike zone has been horrible this inning. Oh my god!
On the replay, it doesn't look that bad on the replay.
And then we'll see you tomorrow.
Oh yeah, that was.
But okay, but to Julian's credit, Paul Skeens is great. Let's go. Paul Skeens is great.
Go.
Let's go.
Best pitcher in the country for sure.
Tigers advance and survive.
Let's go.
But
got the goat on the hill tomorrow.
But Loudon ain't no scrub though.
Because I think it was a stat when he pitched against Stanford. He's 15-0 in the games that he's pitched. Wake Forest is 24-0.
Yeah, Louder ain't no scrub.
He's not a scrub, but he did not look good against Stanford.
The thing is, Stanford, they were attacking him early. They were getting on his fastball.
Stanford got the most home runs in the country, though.
They do, but I mean,
that's a team that can rake top to bottom.
They can. I mean, I think it's when I say 50-50, it's going to be whoever can get to the bullpen first. Whoever can get to the bullpen first will determine your winner. Because that means you're not the best out.
If that's the case, then give me. I think LSU is going to end up with that one because
a crooked number early from LSU, man.
Skeens is going to go. He's going to get you pitch to contact. Strikes. We can see Skeens. Skeens may have 50 pitches in the fourth inning, and Louder will be at 50 pitches by the second.
It just depends how you're going to work. If the other team is work the count, try to get long at bats. Don't try to be attacked too early. Because the sooner you can get either one of those pitchers out, the better for you.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Skeens will have more in the tank than anybody else left. Because I think he wants to get that strikeout record.
Yeah, he does.
Let me ask this: if he beats Ben McDonald's record, is he considered a better pitcher than McDonald?
I think so. I don't even think he has to get the record to be that.
I think what he did in 1 year just shows what.
Yeah,
because I think he's a better pitcher than Ben McDonald. No,
McDonald,
nothing against Ben.
yeah,
Nothing
Ben.
against Ben at
Ben
all.
is
Ben's great, but I haven't seen a pitcher this dominant in college since Steven Strasburg was at San Diego State.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, if he comes out there and dominates in this game versus the number one team tomorrow, it will be so hard to debate against him being.
Well, I mean, he won a natty at 91, right? Ben McDonald.
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah. So I mean, that's one thing Ben McDonald's going to have on his belt.
That's a team accomplishment.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
You say that, but people
in baseball more than anything.
If Paul
in baseball more than anything, it's a team accomplishment. You only pitch, as a starter, you only pitch once a series.
Right. So if he comes out and dominates tomorrow, that'll be 4 dominant postseason regional World Series performances, and then there will just be absolutely no debate at that point.
What's good, Krim?
Like if that actually, and look, I'm not the LSU baseball expert. I'll never pretend to be, but I'm so excited about tomorrow. Like, this is just so legendary because we were never guaranteed another Skeens outing, and we get to witness greatness.
It's gonna be dope, bro.
It's gonna be crazy, man. This is what you live for. I mean, we are the most spoiled fan base to have Angel Reese, Joe Burrow, and all these people, and now we got freaking Paul Skeens and Dylan. I mean, this is just, I'm getting chills down my freaking spine right now. That we're gonna witness this guy.
Yeah,
I think he breaks the national record. I think he breaks it in the 5th inning.
Let's go.
That's from our resident expert, Encyclopedia Chuck said Ben McDonald did not win a national championship at LSU.
Good call, Chuck.
I believe Chuck.
Yeah, so
Ben McDonald could come on here and say, "I won a national championship at LSU," and I would still believe.
You trust Chuck over him,
yeah, Chuck, definitely. But so let's with this game, okay, the game LSU's got it. We've got this chance. We are definitely now in full 2017 deja vu mode. Man, if we get tomorrow, I don't want to look ahead and say, hey, we are gonna win tomorrow, but I strongly feel like tomorrow is in Paul Skeens' hands. I think it's a we've got the best shot ever. With that being said, LSU versus Florida. Is it too soon to look at that one yet?
No, no, yes, yeah,
yes, absolutely.
Yes, don't jinx that.
Okay. Absolutely,
I won't do it. I'll save it then.
Absolutely.
But
I mean, honestly, bro, like we've seen Paul Skeens. We've seen Paul Skeens all year. How many times you seen Paul Skeens on 5 days rest?
You haven't yet, right?
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
I think,
so, honestly,
technically, we could say we have because he starts every Friday night. So
yeah, every Friday. That's a week. He has a week in between. You know what I'm saying? He started.
I get what you mean.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He started Saturday and then Thursday. You know what I'm saying? That's a day after he starts and a day before he normally starts. That's what major league pitchers do. We've never seen Skeens really do that before. So first, I think it's a little too premature of us to just assume that Skeens is going to be the Skeens we've seen game in and game out for him.
Yeah.
Considering he's going on fewer rests than normal. And, I mean, Wake Forest, I understand we just beat them, but they still the number one team in the country for a reason. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely not overlooking them and just automatically chalking the next game up as a W. I respect Wake Forest too much to just automatically give them that.
Now, guys, I just did a little bit of math. Okay, tomorrow is going to be the 22nd, and I know we said not to look ahead, but Game 3 of the national championship's the 26th. Can he pull a 4-day rester? Probably not, huh? Because he didn't do it tonight.
I mean, but if he does it in Game 3, that's for a national championship. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, I mean, this was also effectively for a national championship. It was win or go home.
Yeah, but you could have won today and then lost tomorrow.
Oh yeah, so there's extra motivation to not throw him.
Motivation
because you can get a full start. Versus in that Game 3, you might be able to throw him out there as like a closer or something. Just give us 40 good pitches or something. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, right.
I don't think he starts game 3 by any means. I think you could get some innings out of him in game 3 potentially.
I'm gonna tell you what.
Depending on how many pitches he pitches tomorrow.
As a competitor,
if he goes 80 pitches in 6 innings or something like that tomorrow, and they're able to just get 6 or 7 out of him, and he only throws like less than 90 pitches, then yeah, you might see him earlier on in game 3. But it all depends on what happens tomorrow. Everything hinges on tomorrow.
As a competitor, just imagine yourself as an athlete. It's game 3 of the national championship, and you're just 1 day's rest away from being able to get out there, man. Look, my mentality, give me the freaking Tommy Johns. I'm playing. Let's get out there.
The number 1 pick?
The Pirates.
If you're the Pirates, are you calling Jay Johnson like, I swear to God,
don't do it.
Better not
Don't
pitch
you do
Paul
it.
Skeens. I don't give a damn what he says. You better not pitch him.
So
go ahead.
No, I was going to ask about that. So, 2 things. I do want to point out this comment by Krim. Krim says Scott Woodward did everything right, but hired a men's basketball coach.
Too soon to tell.
Yeah, I was about to say, calm down there. Let's see. He's still recruiting well, and that'll open up a lot of doors for you in the future. But last season was disappointing. That being said, when you hired him, what were the expectations for a guy who has 1 walk-on on the team and no scholarship players when he got the job? Like I understand he recruited himself into higher expectations, but let's just calm down, give him some time.
Not to mention, who else did he have to pick from for that job?
Yeah, I mean, really.
Like, the only reason you got Kim Mulkey is because Baton Rouge is her home. You know what I mean? If she was from Portland, Oregon, she would not be at LSU right now. So it's not like that program was just ready for a winner, and you know what I mean? And anybody could have just came in and did what she did. Like, to Woodward's credit, he got her in there, but it's a lot different considering what the basketball team and the potential candidates you had. There's no Kim Mulkey who could come back home for the basketball team. I guess maybe Buzz Williams or something. I don't know, but yeah.
Well, I mean, and think about this with the basketball team. They were in a lot of trouble both with roster and potential, NCAA, judgments looming. So it wasn't exactly an appealing job. And let's be honest, LSU basketball, I mean, the history of it is a program of underperforming. It's not like it's a top tier 1 job. It's not like it's LSU football making this hire. And I think that, a lot of LSU fans, we get kind of spoiled because we're used to LSU baseball and LSU football hiring standards where you can walk into anybody's office and make an offer they have to consider. But it's not that case for base basketball, man. It's just not.
If you look at recent history, at least under Pokey, the women's basketball team with Simone and Sylvia was still making Final Four appearances.
Oh, yeah.
In this decade. I know Brady was able to make his Final Four run with Big Baby and Tyrus, but that was kind of an outlier more than anything. And if Tyrus stays instead of going pro, they might make another run with the team that they had coming back. And there was some success. Martin and Mickey had that kind of semi-success, but LSU basketball has never been to the level of any of the other sports that we're considered and that has done successful things this season.
Well, without NCAA stuff coming down, right? Is LSU basketball a top 25 job?
Not even close.
I would have to count, but I wouldn't think so. I mean, you start thinking once you count up all those blue bloods, you're like, oh man, UConn, no.
Not even. I mean, like
Kansas,
there's teams like Butler, and Marquette, and what I'm saying, teams like that who would probably rank higher than LSU.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You might be lucky to get them in the top 50. I don't know. I haven't counted, but just
they'll be in the top 50, I would think. But they'd probably be in between like 35 to 45, 50, somewhere around up in that range.
Honestly, to get a coach with McMahon's resume, given the state of the program, was outstanding in my opinion.
I agree. If you're talking the last 20 years, LSU might not be in the top 50, but all time, considering what they was. The history they got with guys like Pettit and Shaq, I think that put them in the top 50.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Bob Pettit though. Nobody gives him enough credit, man. Legend. And if you play with him on 2K, absolute bucket. I mean, absolute bucket. 6'9" power forward, killing it.
Want to get back to baseball real quick. It was announced earlier the was it the Rawlings Golden Spike award winners? Dylan Cruz. I'm sorry, not Golden Spike, Golden Gloves. Dylan Cruz won for center field, but Tanner Hall of Southern Miss was the pitcher. Not saying Tanner Hall is not deserving, but Tanner Hall over Paul Skeen.
I don't know the criteria. It might be a career achievement thing for Tanner Hall.
I mean, I don't know because I saw Enrique Bradfield won the Gold Glove for Vanderbilt as well too. For the outfield.
Oh, it's a Golden Glove. It's like filling your position.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, I don't care about that. That's like fielding your position. I don't know if Skeen's got the highest fielding percentage of any pitcher, nothing like that. So
I feel like he doesn't get a chance because he strikes everyone out.
That's a fair point, but I mean, so he's got other awards for striking folks out. Let the people who actually got filled their position get an award. Shout out to Greg Maddux, though, the best fielding pitcher of all time.
All right, we have reached a point in the show. It's time to talk some football, man.
Let's do it.
So, and this is old too. SEC released their schedule 2024. The biggest thing, and I want to talk about
Oklahoma pissed Greg Sankey off somehow.
That LSU, the LSU Texas A&M thing, because we did the poll question: are they trying to force a rivalry? And a lot of people feel like that the SEC is trying to force a rivalry between Texas A&M and LSU. I did hear some word back from a few people. Ryan Williams of the Drake Williams law firm that sponsors AYS, he commented and said basically with the fan base, large LSU fan base in Houston, that kind of attributes a little bit to the rivalry as well.
I mean, that makes sense. But I don't know if that would permeate through the whole fan base. You know what I mean? I could understand it kind of being a regional rivalry for those in, Southeast Texas, where there's a large contingent of LSU fans and, where Texas A&M is. But I don't know if people in Baton Rouge or New Orleans area, LSU fans really thinking much about A&M.
Yeah. So I did have another theory as to why Texas A&M gets pushed so much.
Because Kevin Falk punched.
No, it's not even. It doesn't even have to do anything with the 7 overtime game. If you look at it, the way they're trying to format this thing, they're trying to give each team two permanent, rivalries. So if you look at, Alabama has Tennessee and Auburn. Auburn has Alabama and LSU. I'm sorry, Alabama and Georgia. Florida has Georgia and Tennessee, and so on and so on. So if you look at it, a lot of the teams that we would most likely pair up with already has 2 permanent rivals that they would most likely.
Man, put us with Mississippi State and Ole Miss.
Well, LSU, Mississippi State is the team
we're not playing
won't
that.
be,
Yeah, we're not.
Which is going to be the first time I think since 1943. First time since 1943 they won't play. That's bonkers to me. But when I hear this conversation about your main rival or whatever, the same reason why LSU is a special job and a special team who wins championships and one of the best jobs in America is the same reason, or at least part of the same reason why LSU does not have a natural born blood rival. There's no one in state to compete with LSU, and the schools that they do compete with, they're pretty far away geographically speaking, with the Mississippi schools being up north and all that good stuff, right? So Bama probably would be LSU's natural rival if Auburn wasn't sitting there. That would LSU Alabama would probably be like one of the rivalries if Bama didn't have in-state brother Auburn there, and then Tennessee doing their thing. So part of the reason why LSU is a special job is why LSU does not have a natural rival, and they've kind of had to, forge an intense rivalry right like that because there's no in-state team to battle, and other schools do have in-state schools to battle.
Right. Yeah. I one thing that's very interesting about like the rival discussion. So last year I did an exercise with a guy by the name of CFB Matrix, and he's like just a national. I've known Dave Bartu for basically since I started media, and he asked me to do an experiment with all the 16 teams in the SEC, and they said, "Hey, rank who your biggest rivals would be. Who would be your 3 permanent teams?" And what was really interesting is he picked like one media person from like each of the 16 teams. And LSU not only had the most like first place selections, they were by far in the most top 3 of any of these selections. And, the Alabama guy said, you know what, I love playing Auburn, but LSU won't ever replace Iron Bowl, but we look forward to the LSU game more than anything else. The Florida person picked LSU. The Arkansas person, of course, picked LSU. The Texas A&M person picked LSU even over Texas, which didn't make sense to me, but still. What's interesting is while LSU doesn't have like just this pure, clean, direct rival, a lot of teams like playing LSU. They get up to play LSU for whatever reason. Other than being great, I just think people like playing LSU. They just think LSU is the cool school. And that was some of the notes that like he took from the exercise. So, yeah, it's true. We'll never just have this direct rival unless like Tulane or somebody like that becomes great. But I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. But, guys, I really appreciate you having me. 100. This stuff is really hard to do. And I need you to keep feeding me those WNBA picks.
I got you, bro. I got you.
Preston, I'm sorry we couldn't rekindle our friendship because you're totally wrong about the Trey Morgan situation. You're safe. But it might not matter because the mother freaking GOAT will be on the hill tomorrow.
I tell you what. Here's my peace offering. If LSU wins the Natty, I'm taking you out. Beers on me, and let's make good. Let's be friends again. You know what I'm saying?
The game Paul Skeens going to throw tomorrow is going to be such Randy Johnson like that he is even going to hit a bird in midair.
Yeah, I was going to say he's going to kill a bird.
Hey, speaking of that, did y'all see that there was a minor leaguer who killed the bird with a curveball?
I saw that, dude.
Really?
That's wild.
Yeah. And you know how bad of a curveball that had to be to kill a bird? But I'm just.
What did you say that Arizona's Zach Gallen did the same thing too? On an off day, he was just throwing, and he hit a bird.
No.
Oh man,
that's crazy.
Up, man.
All right, hold up. Did y'all see Joe Burrow hitting bombs at Cincinnati Reds practice?
The goat. All right, guys. Cheers.
All right. Thank you again, Carter.
Whenever we said Joe Burrow was a dual threat athlete,
Yeah.
That's what we really meant, dual sport.
I get kind of pissed off seeing how many things Joe Burrow's good at. Like, he could probably whoop my ass in Fortnite. Like, rock, paper, scissors, I'm going over against this guy. Like, there's nothing. It's a little infuriating that someone can be that good at everything.
It's like Odell Beckham.
Yeah. Soccer talent.
Soccer
freak.
It just go.
I went to college.
Go between the legs, dunk it like it's nothing. You know what I mean?
One of my roommates in college went to high school with him and just talked about, like, junior high, went up the ranks and just talked about the freakish things he would do when he was like 12 years old playing like dodgeball. And it's like, why is he this good at dodgeball too? It makes no sense.
Yeah.
And it's just good at everything, man.
Yep.
He also went dead center when he took DP at the Angel Stadium.
He went oppo?
No, dead center.
It's wow. That's impressive.
That's grown folk territory.
Yeah, that's impressive. That is impressive.
With Joe Burrow. Speaking of Joe Burrow, possibility of losing his best. Well, not his best, but one of his big targets, T. Higgins.
What they gonna trade him or something?
No,
Well, I mean, it's his 5th-year option. I would assume they're going to do the 5th-year option, but they're not going to be able to re-sign him past that point. I mean, you got to think about just financially what the Bengals. I mean, think about that Joey B contract. Yeah, he says he's going to make it team friendly, but like team friendly means he's going to charge them like $57 million a year instead of 60. I mean, it's going to be.
They finna let Joe Mixon go though.
Oh yeah, well they should. Yeah,
that's gonna free up a lot of money.
He's beating women, like you should cut that guy.
I don't know if T. Higgins. I think they're gonna try to work something out. They might tag him, but I think they're gonna try to keep him around.
Well, it's not this year that's the money issue.
Yeah.
It's going to be next year is going to be a bad year. Hopefully, they can get a contract similar to what Hurts got in Philly. Hurts has a very, very team friendly contract. If you look the way it's laid out,
team friendly. Mahomes probably has the most team friendly deal.
Well, it looks team friendly now, but he signed it 2 years ago. That's why it's team friendly.
But that's what I'm saying. But he signed it 2 years ago, and everybody was like, "Oh, what, $45 million?" And now he's 40. That's a bargain.
That's not. I mean, what's his name? Derek Carr's making 37.
Yeah, it's a bargain, man.
But he also got 10 years guaranteed. So it's like
exactly. So it's like, he's winning either way. But man, it's a bargain and that's why they're gonna be able to keep Kelsey, and they're gonna be able to keep putting weapons around him.
But you got to, I mean, look, the core of your team is Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and both those guys are going to take home some monster contracts. So you're going to have to draft well, man. I might even trade T. Higgins up to, get some draft picks in, because you're going to have to rely on just value draft guys. I mean, because you got to pay rookie guys to come in and step in. That's the nature of the beast. I mean, that's why
when you spent the money they spent on that O-line the last few years.
Boy, that's the thing. You got to start drafting offensive linemen that actually hit for the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be having dudes come in and be what's the guy they drafted out of Clemson who they stretched for? I mean, he's been serviceable.
Carmen Jackson, I think.
Carmen Jackson, that's right. Yeah, it was a bit of a stretch, but you're going to have to start drafting, and I'm talking first round. You have to get some first rounders in and get them to play. You can't keep on paying $15 million a year offensive tackles just for them to get hurt when you need them, because that's what you did the last 2 years. You brought in Riley Reif, hurt. La'el Collins, hurt. When you needed him most.
All because Jonah Williams hasn't lived up to
he didn't hit, and that was
Billy
to
Price
credit to Zach
Ohio
Taylor's.
State.
That was his first ever player he drafted. He knew he was going to need a foundation to build on. It just hadn't. He's been okay. You could do a lot worse than him.
Didn't they have Billy Price at offense from at the center position who never really?
I don't remember that, but I do know they had Bobby Hill manning that right tackle position, and that was about to get Joe Burrow murdered, man. So yeah, you got the offensive line should be much, much better this year. At least that's the hope. They've invested a ton, but that's the thing, man, about these free agency OTs. They cost a lot of money, and they're very injury prone.
It's the reason why they're free agents most of the time.
Hey, you said it.
Yeah. EA Sports college football game. I think we all kind of at the point where we don't care if the players are in the game, because we're going to create their names and stuff anyway, like we did 10 years ago when the game was out.
It's a lawsuit on EA's part, and that's why they're trying to figure it out.
But with that said, EA is being sued by now the Brander Group. They're claiming that EA is trying to basically go around them and offer deals to the players and sign them to NIL so they can use the players' likeness. And I know you weren't on when we talked. Well, I mean, no, you weren't on when we talked about the players and the pay and stuff. My idea, do the generic players. pay the players like $500,000 or something like that. Do the generic players, but then do an add-on, a DLC with all the players' content information, and let the players get royalties off of that. That way, you get paid for your game.
That's a good one.
You get paid for your game, and then the players just get, send the royalties off of their likeness, their actual likeness at that point.
Now, let me ask you this: in this idea, would you be able to remember back in NCAA? What was the last one? 14. You could go online and download somebody else's custom roster. I've done it for 10 years in a row, actually.
Right.
Where somebody else just goes and makes their own, and typically it's better than what EA puts out anyway.
Yeah.
Would you still be able to do that in that circumstance? Download your own roster.
That's a good question.
I don't think you would, because that's the whole point of being able to buy it. You know what I'm saying? Making them buy it. You know what I mean? So,
and EA is a money grubber, man. I mean, they are the worst of any of the
definitely.
video game producers out there. If there's a way where you could screw them and you don't have to get nickel and dime, they going to shut it down real fast. But on top of that, I believe there was an argument in the David O'Bannon case that, okay, well, you can download their names and images and likeness for free online, and thousands of people or millions of people are doing it. So can you really say this is legal? You're still using them in the game.
Well, if you don't do the locker portion, because that's what you were able to do it for, is through the locker. But if you do the DLC and do it that way, it's just like, so do y'all remember the era where you get your car, and as soon as you get a new car or whatever, the first thing you do, you go buy aftermarket radio so you can have Bluetooth and stuff like that. Now cars are coming with that stuff standard, even rims. Like a lot of cars are coming with standard, saying kind of upgrade on rims. Video games should be the same way. If you see that this is what the people want, instead of them have to do aftermarket to get it, provide it for them.
Yeah. Look, I have a theory with this game. If you don't have likeness, you need at least likeness. Name, image, all that be damned. You got to at least have QB number 5, who's a 95, 93 overall with 96 speed for LSU. You got to at least have that. If you don't have that, the game's going to be a total flop. Nobody wants to buy a generic football game, with LSU with a bunch of random player names. Even if you can download the roster, we're talking about a flop.
Bingo. I mean, I think what people are failing to realize is people keep saying, I don't need the names. I don't. It could say QB whatever under there, as long as I could play with the play. Well, you're still using their likeness, and that's the loophole that nobody's able to kind of figure out how to get around. I like Pooh's idea. I even thought of kind of like being able to where you could kind of go buy the game with generic players like you talked about, Preston, with just QB6, and then it's just some guy looks like Peyton Manning that can't run out there being the quarterback. But you could go to LSU and purchase their roster. You know what I'm saying? And do it that way, and do it kind of on a school by school basis.
Well, it would have to be at least by conference. You can't just go out and buy one team's roster. That's janky, dude. But I've always thought.
No, I'm just saying that way you could keep track of, like, okay, if you have 100,000 people buy LSU's, that much money is gonna be divided between that team.
I've always thought to myself here,
it's a lot easier to divvy it up that way than conference by conference.
So the big stick in the mud
because if that's
right
the
now,
case, Alabama, if you got 100,000 people buying LSU, my bad for interrupting, but if you got 1,000 Alabama LSU fans and 10,000 Vanderbilt fans, Vanderbilt's getting the same check as Alabama.
And I get that. And I have a resolution for that.
That's
that
for
I've
TV deals,
okay.
but not
so
for video games.
check this out. Right now they're talking about $500 per player. If you do some quick math, roughly around $5.5 million, probably less than that, because not all 85 for all 130 teams are getting it. That was the math I did. So about $5.5 million. What do you expect them to cut a check, marketing dollars, to college players? Like, you expect them to pay $100 million? No, $5.5 million is a fair number for EA to cut to these college players to have them split. The problem is they're having to split it equally. So of course, the 4-string quarterback for Tulane is getting a great deal, getting $500, and Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams are probably getting shafted. So my thought on this is they've already announced they're going to do a version of Madden Ultimate Team, which is a microtransaction based mode of the game. It is a cash cow for Madden. Most Madden players hate it, but there is enough Madden players doing it, and because it's microtransaction based, it is a cash cow, and it'll always be a heavy emphasis as part of the Madden game. Do that with college, and the part of the Madden Ultimate Team is you buying cards of players to play on your team. You buy, say, it could even be like a 96 or a 98 Peyton Manning, right? Just do that with the college players, and every time you pay, say, $4.99 or whatever for that player's card to play on your team for 10 games, give a royalty to that player. That way, the most popular players are making more money because more people are pursuing them in the Ultimate Team version, and that way it is both equal and equitable.
Okay, to your first point, the NFL Players Association gets paid $500 million for them to use their name,
a year,
and likeness. I mean, over the length of the contract.
I'm about to say I don't know. I don't think that game brings in $500 million a year.
I mean, yeah, I understand that, but I mean, for the length of the contract,
it's like,
it's going to be more than $5.5 million a year that they're paying out to
for NFL, right? It's a bigger budget game, no doubt.
Yeah, but do you not think that college football is going to, for the first 4 or 5 years they make it, is going to not be one of the biggest selling games that EA puts out?
I won't outsell Madden. I mean, look at NFL numbers.
Yes, it will.
Maybe year one it will. Maybe, but I don't think it will. It never did back in the day.
Yeah, I don't know about that one because I pretty much, I'm gonna be honest with you. I can recall every year college came out, I was getting the college game, and I may not get Madden. And I know that's kind of anecdotal, just speaking on for me,
right?
But most people that I know preferred college, and they only went to Madden when college.
Well, but okay. Geographically, where were these people you were talking to? Because yes,
we're all in the South. Yeah,
in the South, yes, of course, NCAA. But go out to California and see if any of those guys have ever bought NCAA football. Maybe they did because of USC or whatever. Go to New York. Go to Colorado. Go to Seattle. See, the NFL is widespread. College football tends to be geographically really heavy hitting in the South. Yes, college football is bigger in the South than the NFL, but across the country, look at the NFL numbers for TV games. I mean, it is unbelievable. Like the most watched college game usually would be like an average NFL game.
Yeah, I think NFL is more corporate though. So I mean, that's part of the reason why. But back to the contract between the NFLPA and EA, that's for 5 years, $500 million.
But each player gets like 11,900 or something like that. I think that's what it breaks down. But if you look at it, you're only, I mean, granted there are free agents that are in there that you have to worry about. But you got 32 teams, 53 players.
Mm-hmm.
$100 million a year.
Yeah. So
however you want to divide it is however you want to divide it.
Yeah, I'm just saying you don't have
5.5 million and they spending $100 million over here. So you can bump that 5.5 up to 20 and you'll still be fine.
All right, let's put it like this. Okay, so the last NCAA 14 video game, they grossed $443 million. That's gross though. That doesn't include costs. So
yeah, what did Madden gross that year? I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. I'm trying to look that up too.
While you guys are figuring out, breaking news: the Porzingis trade has failed.
Oh
yeah, I just saw that.
Yeah, that's what Nick was saying. Nick said, "Pork chop trade falls apart." Man, God is good. Nick's
that boy scared. That boy scared. It just got Bradley Beal and scared. I tell you, boy.
All right. Well, while I think Preston's looking that up, we talked about failing. Let's talk about failing. Antonio Brown's Arena League football team, the Albany Empire, was booted from the league. They were booted. Do you know how bad you got to be for your whole team to get booted out the league? They were booted from the league after AB failed to pay the fees for the league, for the team to be in the league, and the fines, And also, they've had a string of incidents that have happened since he's been the owner.
That man ain't pay his bills
At all.
How you own a team and don't pay your bills, man?
Good question.
They foreclosed on the team facilities, man.
He said a whole team. Yes, the whole team.
Well, you know
That sound
what's
like-
funny about that?
They need to make a movie out of that. They need to make a movie.
They
out of it.
didn't foreclose on the team. He didn't pay his league dues. He still owns the team. He just does not have a league to participate because he got kicked out. So what do you do with that?
Movie script. This is a movie script. A guy buys a team, get kicks out of the league, so he starts his own league because he's got a team but no league.
Starring Will Ferrell and
I was just about to say the Flint Tropics
and Kevin
Let's get
Hart
tropical. Let's get tropical.
with
Black.
with Mike Epps as the league commissioner.
Who's gonna play Antonio Brown though? That's the question.
Kevin Hart.
He ain't crazy enough. I don't know who is, but he ain't.
Get DC Youngfly to do it.
Hey,
Ooh,
that might not be a bad one right there.
that's a good one. That's a good one. I don't know if Chris still in here. Chris was in here earlier. We're talking baseball. Chris said because it was funny. I read it and I read in his voice. Chris says you got to start his ass tomorrow talking about teams, but but Chris will be proud of this next story. Derek Dillon, former LSU Tiger, finished the USFL regular season as the all-purpose yards leader. So, congratulations to him. He had 1,100 all-purpose yards. Man, Derek Dillon was almost a weekly special teams player. But the crazy part about it, he didn't win the special teams player of the year or the special teams
popularity contest.
Yeah, so it's crazy. So, oh, that's a good one. Dave said Carlos Miller could play Antonio Brown.
All right, best I could find on Madden because they don't publish it. So it's estimated they make in about $600 million a year, and that's in current video game revenue numbers.
Yeah,
In the last 10 years have skyrocketed.
yeah. So
They're making $600 million off that crappy game.
Ah, man, look, don't get me started, man.
Yeah.
It's because it's the only football game. I'm sure once the
I don't
NCAA
believe
comes
it,
out, that
dog.
goes down at least 25% or so.
NCAA wants to drop marijuana from the banned substance list.
What year we in?
2023 should have been dropped.
To be fair, they just behind the times like always, you know. Right on model for the NCAA.
Yeah,
I mean, but so is like our federal government. So I mean, you guys have
Hey,
no
hey,
excuse.
hey.
You know what I mean?
That's the one thing that might be slower than the NCAA.
Well, the only entity with more red tape and
Yeah,
more
that ain't no lie.
lagging behind.
That ain't no lie.
and then when the NCAA gets in trouble,
Let's
They go
run
to
to
the
the people
federal
that's gonna
government.
let's run to the people that's gonna drag it out longer than we will, you know?
yeah. Man. I don't know if y'all heard. I ain't gonna go into detail with it because it's still early in it. In the allegations, Conor McGregor was accused of sexual assault during the game for the NBA Finals. I think that's also the same game he
That's
punched
the
the
game
mascot.
that he sent the mascot to the hospital.
Boy, he was on just a violent streak that day.
Yeah.
He didn't have to do that to Bernie, man. Bernie didn't deserve that.
Did y'all see
bro.
they have a video of him dragging the woman into the bathroom? They literally have a video of him like, and they're not dragging like, you know, violent, just like, you know, very firmly grabbing her and pulling her into the
Just,
bathroom.
kind of forcefully convincing her to come.
I'm not going to say the word coerce, but you know,
Yeah.
convincingly pulling on her, saying, "Come on!" Like it wasn't against, like she wasn't fighting back or nothing. But there's literally a video of them going into the bathroom together.
The mascot wasn't fighting back for real. I mean, it was a skit, but yeah, that's neither here nor there. Canelo and Charlo is now set.
Yeah, the boxing match, man. It's the year of the boxing match. If only we could get a heavyweight match.
Nobody's ducking anymore. I mean, I think the best heavyweight match we're gonna get is Joshua Wilder, but nobody.
If we could see Fury Usyk, I think that'll be better fight.
We talked about. I mean, it was old, but we talked about the Nuggets winning. Stan Kroenke, the owner of the Nuggets, has had a year. He owns the Nuggets. He owns the Rams. He owns the
Rams didn't do nothing this year.
No, not this year, but last year. I forget it's the lacrosse team. They won.
He owns the Avalanche too.
And the Avalanche. So
they won last year.
Is he the most successful multi-sports franchise owner in history?
In history?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of another owner who owned multi-sports.
Wouldn't it be Magic? But he was a part owner.
Yeah, he was
part owner.
Part owner.
I mean, I'm sure somebody like Mickey Arison or somebody like that's got their hand in multiple different.
Yeah.
Now he's just the majority owner and in the face of a bunch of them. But yeah, I mean, I can't say of all time because I mean I haven't done the research on that. But I will say he's on a run as of recently that I don't think many, if any, owners have had. I'll give him that, but I don't know if I could say he's the best one ever. Because I'm sure there's somebody who's got like 3 European soccer teams or something. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Hopefully, we'll be talking about Gail Benson in this conversation in maybe 10, 15 years. But
yeah, she just moved up on the list of richest NBA owners.
I saw that.
Nice.
So now maybe she could pay the luxury.
I just want to say the investments these people are getting back on their sports franchise. Did y'all see what Michael Jordan sold?
Yes.
The Hornets for? Yeah. Okay.
The ROI is ridiculous.
I think I saw 270 million is what he bought in at. And by the way, this was like 2010. This wasn't like, like we were all grown men voting and shit like that when this was going on, and oh boy, like what, 13 years later, $3 billion with a B. Oh man, dude.
Crazy, man.
Everything's so expensive. Even sports teams are expensive.
Man,
nowadays.
Dan Snyder is the biggest though. That dude right there, like he was borrowing money from people. Yeah, he was borrowing money from people to buy that team, and now look what he's selling it for. $6 billion.
That's crazy.
Unbelievable, man. Unfreaking believable. And that's not one of the valuable teams in the NFL either.
Yeah. But see, that's the
and by the way, it's not like he did a good job either.
Oh no. It wasn't like, I mean,
he was a shitty owner and he made that kind of ROI.
I mean, Michael Jordan
made some of the worst picks
twice. Made the playoffs twice in his 13 years. Finished like in the top. I mean, the bottom 3 of the league, like 10 times in them 13 years. Like, he was a terrible owner.
David Irvin said.
Hornets back.
Yeah. David Irvin says Jerry Jones with the craziest. I was about to say that. Yeah, old boy bought it for a bag of potato chips and a dishwasher. I mean, my God. So there's a story in the late 80s. It would have been Donald Trump actually had an opportunity to buy the team for about $50 million. Now, I don't know about you. And he, of course, he had some just very typical, like, I think it's a terrible investment. The Cowboys are a nothing franchise that are going to go nowhere. Well, now the team's probably worth above $8 billion.
Yeah. Crazy.
What?
You got to remember the Bobcats. Yeah.
What? Bro, we're just gonna have to agree to disagree on that, bro. Like, he had a squad at one time with Al Jefferson, Kimball, Jared Wallace, and them boys, and he couldn't do nothing with it. Nothing.
Yeah.
Part of the reason the Bobcats was that bad was because George drafted too. Let's not forget that. He drafted Michael Kidd. Garrett was top 5.
Yeah.
And Mark
And Adam Morrison.
yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
What an unlikely bust that was, man.
Unlikely.
Man,
See
dude,
that
he
coming
was.
from a mile
Oh
away.
no, come on. Okay, you
Yes,
could, sure.
Just like Jimmy Fredette.
Dude was a beast at Gonzaga, man.
Just like Jimmy Fredette. You can see that coming from a mile away.
You know, I'll let you dig up your tweet from whatever year that was.
I mean, they didn't even.
I think
have
I think you're hitting. I think you're hitting me with a little bit of Captain Hindsight there, my
Nah,
guy.
they didn't have, I was always JJ Redick over Adam Morrison, and I don't even like.
Oh
him.
man, that is before Twitter. That was what 2007.
That was before that, I think.
I mean, Twitter came shortly there afterward, but yeah.
I think.
I think it was 07, maybe 06. Because I know
Yeah, it was
LSU
06.
knocked
Yeah, it
out
was
JJ
06.
Redick.
I
in
think
the
it
NCAA.
was 06. Yeah, I think it was 06.
I'm trying to remember. Was that the 06, 07, or was that the 05, 06?
It was 05, 06.
Okay, all right. Then yeah, it would have been
Oh.
2006.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, this year's is it this year's NBA draft? Is this the weakest
tomorrow.
NBA?
I mean, if you outside the top 3, name. I mean, can any of y'all name anybody outside the top 3 this year?
I can name number 1. Everybody talks about number
you
1.
You got number 1, then you got Scoot Henderson and
All
Brandon
right.
Miller.
So look, let me acknowledge
After that,
something.
who you got?
I am not a basketball scout, and I know exponentially less than the guys actually scouting him. But I see Wembanyama, and I'm like, dude, this guy is lanky and thin. He's gonna be injury prone. Like, is this guy gonna D up dudes in the paint? And I understand he's got a sweet shot and all, but I mean, those guys tend to be more just role players. Like Manute Ball, is kind of who I get.
Manute Bol?
Manute, isn't it Manute? Whatever. He played before I was born. Give me a break here.
Manute Bol. But yeah.
He got his son, Bobo.
Bobo.
Yeah,
No, I got that
Bobo,
name
yeah.
pronunciation down. Bobo. But hey, Bobo's doing pretty good too. I remember he was the buzz guy last year in the draft.
I got Nick says Timmy, the guy from Gonzaga, and Timmy will be a 2nd round pick if he's even drafted. So that just goes to show you how much everybody knows about this year's NBA draft. There's 2 guys. There's twins. Have you heard of the Thompson twins? Anybody? One person? Okay. Then you got.
I don't know where they played at, but I know about
They played. They didn't play in the NCAA. They were G League. That's probably why most people haven't heard of them. But also you got a couple guys from Arkansas: Nick Smith, Anthony Black. Guy from UCF, Taylor Hendricks. Guy from UConn, Jordan Hawkins. Andrew Reese's cousin. Most people know him for that. Don't even know he's in the draft. But you know what I mean? Like you just have a bunch of guys who nobody's really heard of, who aren't really gonna be stars, who are gonna be kind of role player type guys in the NBA at best. And it's just not really a star power. Luka Garza came out last year, dog. He's on the Pistons. I mean, you got the big guy from Stanford. I mean, not Stanford. I'm sorry, Purdue. Zach Edey. He came back to college. So I mean, you don't even really have the Player of the Year coming. I mean, you just don't really have the star names from college coming out like you normally would have, other than Brandon Miller, I guess.
By the way, LSU money line for tomorrow came out. LSU minus 145.
Minus? Yeah.
Minus. LSU's favored. That's pretty good.
That's the Paul Skeens effect.
Yeah, no kidding, man. That's what I was telling. I'm with Carter. At least 75% chance.
They were
Vegas is giving you.
They're underdogs today, which is funny.
Hey,
they should have been.
Going into today, LSU was plus 500 to win the whole thing. What are they now, Preston? Do you got those odds?
Hold on one second. Plus 235.
I tell you what, I've got 2 of them. I got one that I had in during March Madness. And then I got one that I did probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. So if LSU wins it all,
Yeah.
In good shape, huh?
yeah.
I'm just ready for these WNBA playoffs. I'm gonna be a rich man.
Speaking of that, sort of WNBA ish. BET's Sportswoman of the Year award. 3 of the nominees, LSU women.
That's dope.
Got
That's
Shakara
dope.
Richardson, Alexis Morris, and Angel Reese.
That's dope. And I'm sure they'll have Fly J perform.
By the way, hey, I noticed your bump music was the Flage Johnson single she put
It
out.
is.
That's pretty sick.
Of course, man.
Mike
You know,
Scarborough
we had
would be like, "What is this you're playing? I don't understand this thing.
to tell him it's Fly J, and he'd be like, "Oh, okay, you know."
Can you put on some Eagles for me?"
Hey, we could play some Stairway to Heaven. That's cool.
AC/DC, please.
Hey, I was gonna do this as an alts call, but we probably ain't gonna do alts call. But I do want to talk about this, man. The worst, absolute worst trash talk in boxing history. And Chris, I hope you still watching. You probably not, but this would make you proud. Here we go.
Well, you know, I like to go fishing. Everybody know those are my hobbies.
Man, that's cat. He's not catching me with no fishing pole,
Hey, listen.
man. I'm the biggest. You
Listen.
can't catch me with no fishing pole.
Listen.
What it look like catching Moby Dick with a fucking fishing pole, man? Get the fuck out of here, bro.
They all been caught before.
Man, not with no fishing pole.
Every last one of them. And
Not with
July
no fishing
29th,
pole.
he gonna be caught too. I got a big enough hook for him, and,
Yeah,
and
alright.
I'm already reeling them in.
Y'all don't
July
even sound
29th,
good. Your ass better have a submarine.
I'm gonna put him on the bank. I'm gonna put him on the bank. I'm gonna gut him and I'm gonna fillet him.
Man, you
like
better
I
have a
said.
submarine.
All right, we gonna catch him. Well, matter of fact, we already caught him. We just reeling him in right now. And July 29th, that's when we're gonna get him to the bank. We'll probably weigh him, you know, put him on a scale.
You ain't got a scale big.
Chop his head off, cut him from, you know, the gut, the little butt up. You know what I mean? Take the little vice grips, pull the skin off, take the little knife.
It don't even sound good. Yeah, we Jamaican, man. We smoke bud.
Hey.
You already know how that go. It's legal in Vegas too, so we gonna smoke your ass up.
Hey, y'all do.
It's legal in Vegas too, so we gonna smoke. We gonna roll you up and smoke you up too, man. Y'all get that new bud strand, man.
Hey, but you know the crazy part about it is, you know what I mean? Y'all do smoke bud in Jamaica. I forgot. But this ain't
new bud strand.
This ain't no bud. This ain't no kind bud. You feel me? This ain't the bud that you just can buy on the streets. This
We ain't buying that on the
this
street.
that marinated bud that you hit one puff, you might be seeing stars like how high. Just know.
Man,
Terrence,
you know,
let me ask you this.
Whack. We don't do that.
The absolute worst trash talk.
All right, you know what that reminds me of? If y'all ever seen The Other Guys with Will Ferrell and it's like when he's describing the tuna coming out of the ocean to hunt down the lions. That's what that shit reminded me of. Like,
Hey,
You know what
Bud
that reminds
Crawford. Bud Crawford. I'm sorry, but if your mama did not get a check from you when you was a child, she missed out on a lot of money.
Hey, I do want to say CTE is real in boxing too.
That's a very true point. Very true point. I take that back. Maybe he got CTE.
I'll say this. Bud Crawford already showed up to the what's called.
What was he wearing? First of all,
He had on like some jeans and like you talked about it reminds you of other guys. That reminded me of not my uncles, because my uncles don't do that, but it reminded me of like a cookout with a drunk uncles.
Yes.
Playing cards at the table, and they start
fighting over the domino game.
and they just start saying random stuff. That's what that reminded me of. That was so terrible. The trash talk between those two, it was just, and then it got worse when Spence started talking about, when he said, what I'm saying, we smoke bud.
Hey, I'll give him that. That's a good line. I give him that.
Good line.
I give him that. That's a good line. That's a good line. Now, what Bud started saying after that, like, you just got to give him that one, bro. That's a great line. Y'all do, I get y'all do, but this ain't no, this some marinated. Like Like on How High. Like, what is you talking about? How High came out 30 years ago.
I saw it at the movie theater too. Judge your mama. But it was just terrible. It was just
that was terrible, bro.
Absolutely terrible.
So you got that video I got?
I got it. I have to bring it up on.
Man, hey, I'm sorry. That might be funnier than what you just showed me, Pooh. I'm sorry. This might be funny. Bro, this is one of the funniest things I ever, and I honestly feel bad for the guy because I know he believed. I know he believed what he's saying, and that's what makes it sad. This man really feels like he is one of the greatest players to ever play all time. Listen to what Carl Anthony Towns said about what the people after him was going to think about him. Oh, we can't hear it.
By the way, this podcast has been going viral a few times for some of his bangers, man. This is like the GOAT of bad takes.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
People don't even notice Draymond Green's podcast anymore. It's so bad.
Oh, man, we can't find it. Dang, we can't hear it.
Oh, you can't hear it?
Nah.
Yeah, hit that volume bar.
Hear it? Y'all could hear it.
Well, I can hear it, but it's really low. Just hit that volume bar. Nope, no favors.
It's all the way up. So
try it again. See, it might have been laggy.
Let's see. Let's try it.
Nothing.
Nah, I can't hear it.
Nothing, man. Just
basically, Carl Anthony Towns said that the people gonna look back at him and say that he changed the game.
Oh yeah. This is the one I was talking about. Okay.
No big man has ever shot the ball like him for three. Nobody has ever been able to do what Carl Anthony Towns has been able to do on the basketball court. They're gonna look back and say he changed the game.
And you see why Jimmy Butler wanted out.
Yeah. If you and I'll bring this back up because it's funny. Because it said guys like Dirk Nowitzki wouldn't exist without Cat.
No big man has ever shot.
Those you don't know. Dirk was retired by the time Cat came around, wasn't it?
Dude was drafted in 96.
Yep, correct. Played 20 years. My thing is, so you have a total of how many playoff wins? How many playoff series have you won?
Has he won any?
I mean, he's won a play-in game, and Patrick Beverly celebrated like they just won the finals, but
he cried.
But I mean, don't get me wrong. Cat is he's a good player. He's a great talent. He's a good player. He's a little too emotional as a player. He's a little too soft as a player, but he's a great talent. But change the game? Nah, buddy. Like it's only a handful of people who could say they changed the game. Like that's like we talk about GOAT. We talk about GOAT. Like there's more people who have an argument for GOAT than people who have an argument for changing the game.
Agreed.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah. So I don't know. He might be feeling himself because it's and he's still with never mind.
So that boy Nick said he a tall man, not a big man.
Damn,
that is true.
That's cool. You know who changed the game this year? Just serious talk. Ja Morant definitely changed the game for future, man.
Oh, I mean,
he set some serious precedents for the future.
So does Zion.
He needed to change his game, off of tender is what he needed to change.
I will say this though. Like, I don't know if Zion got hurt on the basketball court anymore.
That man got some strong hips.
I mean, based off some of the things I've been reading in these tweets, he might have got hurt doing something else. Like, he might have threw his hip out doing something else.
Yeah. Definitely.
That girl says she got videos, man. And if videos drop, that ain't going to be good.
That's illegal. She going to go to jail.
She might.
And the Pelicans are going to have to trade Zion.
Well, man, look. Oh, man. It's been 2 hours.
Hey, before we go, last thing. What if we find out that Michael Jordan hired her to come up with our list so he could trade for Zion before he sold the Hornets?
Isn't the sale complete? Is it pending or something?
Nah, it's complete, but he is still overseeing the draft and everything like that until the transition with the new owners can take place.
So if he gets Zion, does that like take it to 3.2 billion or something like that?
I don't know how that would change, but I mean, LaMelo Ball and Zion.
I'm gonna be honest, Ant. I think
that'd be fun.
I think you got the tinfoil hat on a little too tight on that one.
You got Michael Bridges,
Miles Bridges.
I'm sorry. Who's
he's a domestic abuser.
Yeah, he
allegedly.
So you got one beating on women. Then you got Zion who come in who beating it up.
All right, that's enough. That's enough.
Dog.
But I will say, LaMelo Ball and Zion would be fun to watch for 52 games out of a season. I will say that though.
52,
42,
that's
32, whatever, however many games they play.
12. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, I do want to say special shout out. Thanks to Carter.
Yes,
thanks to Julian.
Man.
Thanks to our first ever guest, Preston. We thank
sir.
y'all.
Yes, sir.
It's been great to do number 100 with you guys. Finish the game off. Everybody who's tuned in, want to thank y'all, man. Y'all, you know what I'm saying? If you tuned in for a short period of time or you've been here with us during the duration, we want to thank y'all. 100 more on the way.
Yes, sir. Julian, we'll see you soon. We'll talk some more baseball.
Yes, sir.
Preston, as soon as we start getting into these practices, we're going to have to get you back. And I know recruiting about to get hot and heavy.
It's been hot.
I know it's already starting, but once all these camps and stuff start getting kind of settled out, I think we really gonna start seeing more 2025 offers come in and more guys committing in the 2024 class. So we'll have to bring you back.
They got a bunch of OVs right now, man.
The dead period starts the 1st. July 1st.
So watch for some dominoes to fall here in the next 7 days, I'd say. So it's gonna be a fun time, man. Lots of good kids, and then you got Colin Hurley competing at the Elite 11.
Yep.
And
JD5 looking pretty good at the Elite 11 also.
Frank Wilson told Mike after one of his camps, like for the Friday night camp they did in Tiger Stadium, was the most recruits they've ever had on campus at once ever.
If I'm not mistaken, 800?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. And I went to a camp last year. I didn't get to go to the camps this year because I broke my foot a few weeks ago and hadn't been able to go out there and get on the grind. Yeah, I know. It's been rough, dude. But I went to one with like 500 kids out there, and it's just unbelievable. I'm like, how do you even begin to
evaluate all that?
Well, it's a level of organization. I overheard the coaches just talking about it. Brian Kelly was actually talking to what's his name, the Ricky Collins and his parents about it, and they were like, talking about how they had 2,000 kids in a weekend, and they had to have organized system of videos, and then assistants to review the videos and just really scrub it for any diamonds in the rough. And I'll be honest, at these camps, it's pretty quick and easy to see who the guys are gonna be. But you might, you know, sometimes there's a 5'8" guy who's a real, who, you know, once you watch the film, you'll find him. So one of the guys is Andre Evans, was a diamond in the rough guy they found, who was really impressive at camp, and now you see him going up the recruiting rankings. So I'm just saying, it's a good time for recruiting at LSU.
Oh man, hey, you don't have to tell us. You don't have.
I wish I broke. No, I got in a wreck.
Oh man, sorry.
Oh, hey, well, you finna get paid then?
Well, we'll see.
Get Gordon.
Get it
Help
done.
them NIL deals out.
That's right.
No, I appreciate you for joining us, both of y'all, though, fellas. We'll have y'all back on soon for real, man. To everybody tuning in, appreciate y'all. Pooh. We made 100, man.
Got 100. Hey, we not far from on the HBCU outside either. We had 60, so we total 160 shows, man.
We're coming, and we ain't backing down.
All right, like that. We out. This show was presented by BetOnline.ag.
Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe on Twitter at Golden Boot. On Instagram at Golden Boot. On YouTube at The Golden Boot Pod. On Facebook at The Golden Boot Pod.
Golden